Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Life After Debt podcast. My name is Amber Duncan, and I am so excited today because I am bringing on someone who actually did a clarity call with me about 3 years ago. And I still remember this call because, she's single. She was struggling with $26,000 worth of credit card debt. And we got her started on a program through Life After Debt. And so now today, I'm super excited to introduce to you Melody. Welcome, Melody.
Hello.
Boy, this is going to be a great podcast because I think our favorite episodes are the ones where we have individuals like yourself who actually you were brave enough to book that clarity call and you spoke with one of our representatives. So I just want to welcome you today and say thank you for being vulnerable. One, for even booking your clarity call, but two, for coming on the podcast, The Life After Debt, and sharing with everyone about your experience with working with us and our team. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let's get started.
Okay.
My first question for you is I want you to take us back to the beginning, okay? What was the main catalyst or the main reason that you felt like you reached out to us to begin with when you were looking at your credit card debt? Like what was that moment like for you?
It was terrifying. I had really struggled with spending, being single, totally transparent. I was filling up a void, trying to fill up a void. I would go shopping, I would do this, I would do that, and have that credit card. And I said, "Oh, I can just pay it off. I can pay it off." Well, the more it mounted up, the more I got in debt, and it was really bad, and I was noticing that I couldn't remember what I even bought the previous week, and I just remember I was suggested that, "Hey, why don't you try and do a clarity call?" And I was a nervous wreck. I remember I was shaking, I was embarrassed, and I was just like, "What in the world am I doing?" I just felt like I was being too, I don't know, maybe dramatic about it, but I was at the point where I was really starting to drown, and I couldn't get out of it, and the more I tried to budget, it just wasn't going anywhere. It was actually getting worse, and I just didn't have the umption to know what to do. But that clarity call really changed my life. It changed the trajectory of my vision and my future. Took a while to get there, but I did it.
Yeah, I tell people if you can have the courage enough to reach out and ask for help, you're 95% there.
Yeah, and that's
That
hard to
is
do.
the hardest
Yeah.
piece of advice to accept, and you said it best, and I hear this all the time from clients, like, "I was so nervous to actually talk to you." And I always say to people, "Listen, do you know my story, right? I had filed bankruptcy, I lost everything, so you are in good company here." This is a life experience. It happens to all of us at some point in our life, and I'm just grateful and thankful for the opportunity to be on the other side of that phone,
Yeah.
along with the other reps that work for me, to be able to extend grace and open up the floor to you to share everything that you're feeling. And
Yes.
so when you put a lot of your emotion into just explaining that of how you felt nervous, you were the shame and guilt associated. And I even love what you said when you said you were able to really drill down and see that for you. And I can relate to this a lot. I think
Yeah.
growing up for me, shopping was my thing too. That's how I dealt with my emotions or my
Mhm.
feelings. Some people eat, which I love food too, but shopping is and was my thing. It's very therapeutic. I mean, if I do,
Yeah. It is
right?
fun. Yes. Yes.
And I don't like the word budget. I've
Mhm.
always hated the word budget. I think it puts a cap on what I believe God's can do, in someone's
Right.
life and provide. But at the same time, I think we have to be responsible with what we're given, right? And I
Right.
think that,
Exactly.
that was your situation and you're single.
Mhm.
Listen, that is tough to be a single income household in the day and
Yes.
age we live in.
Absolutely. And you live and you don't realize it, but you're living way below the mean I'm not but way below way and it just knocks you in the face, and it's like, "Oh my gosh, what am I doing?" It just yeah, it's scary. It really is scary.
It is scary. So after you did that clarity call, because I remember the representative that you spoke with at the time, how was that call for you? And how did you feel leaving the call?
Well, the call was a lot better than it was amazing, it was a lot better than what I even expected. But I didn't know what to expect. I think because of being proud of thinking, "Oh, I can handle this." No, and I realized I couldn't. You had to swallow and be humility and all that stuff, but the call was it was calming. It was I got answered questions and, they got an idea of what was, my goal and everything and what I'm trying to do and how much debt I had. Yeah, but it was a really good experience for me. I highly recommend it to anybody to do that, and don't be afraid, just do it. You
Yeah.
just never know what that person could say that could just really help you make that decision.
It is like anything else in our lives, once you ask for help,
Mhm.
it's that area of life seems to lose its power over you, you
Yes.
know? And so I think there's a lot of power in just reaching out and asking for help.
Yes.
And once, we dialed in, you had $12,000 worth of debt. We got you set up in our program. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're done with your program. Is that
I
right?
am. As of almost a year ago. I think it was
Wow.
about a year ago, and I really am what's really okay, when I finally decided I'm gonna do this, I really got serious. Started doing a budget. I started trying to sell stuff that I did not need, and I really it was still hard, because I still was tempted. But yeah, once I made that decision, I was gung ho. We're going to do this, and I wanted to prove to myself that I can do this. And but a lot of prayer, and I will say this: I believe in tithing,
Mhm.
and I tithe way above 10%, and I believe that you tithe your way out of debt, and I think that's the reason why like, maybe a little over a year, I was out of debt. So or could have been 2 years, I can't remember, but I just remember I kept increasing my tithe, and God kept blessing, and I also did a lot of side hustles with a lot of
Good
pet
for
sitting.
you.
So that's how I was trying to get things down, and I didn't beans and rice, rice and beans, and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and, you name it, but it can be done. It's just you just need to do it. You can do it. You can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
And everything that you said is exactly what we really try to preach to those who we speak with. And that is, I do believe in tithing. And I think that most of us, we either operate out of two emotions, fear or
Mhm.
love, right? So everything that we do is out of that space. However, you can't outgive God. We know
No.
that. And
Yeah,
so I tell people, hey, if you're in debt and you want to get out, give to your and watch what happens. It'll come back to you tenfold. So
absolutely.
I love that that's your story. I love that that's what you did to see you on the other side of this. I can't imagine how it must feel
Ugh.
now. And tell us a little bit about, what was the hardest part going through that program? What was the moment where it was like, "Oh my gosh." Was there anything that creeped up on you or where you just felt that it was overwhelming? Like, how was the process?
Okay, the process for me at first was very intimidating because I had never been through something like this before, and I would call, you know, a representative or whatever, and I would just say, "Hey, I need to make sure I understand what I'm doing and what's the end result kinda going to be," because I've always been taught you always pay your bills on time, but I mean, I couldn't even do that. So, I think it was a time where I just had to be open and I had to trust the process and that it
Yes,
was gonna work. But I got myself into this, and it's not gonna be an overnight success of,
that's
"Oh, I'm
right.
out of debt in 24 hours." I got into this, but I have to pay for it. It's like when you're on a diet, you can't lose weight very fast, but you can sure put it on fast. Same thing with debt. I mean, it can go out like glass of water. Yeah, it can be very yeah, it was I just once I learned to really trust the process, it took me a couple weeks to really learn, to
Mhm,
understand, but
mhm.
I knew that at the end goal was gonna be worth it, and so that's what I kept persevering.
Yeah, and I think that's great advice, especially around your finances, you wanna make sure you're talking to somebody that you trust, and so
Yes.
one, really appreciate that you trusted our team. It
Well,
means
I
a lot.
well well, let me tell you this, not to sorry to interrupt you, but I would also recommend I sought a really good friend that was an accountant, and I sought her out and I said, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. I need a mentor and I need accountability." And when I decided to do that, that is when it's like clicked and it was like, "Ah, that's what this program's doing. This is what I'm supposed to be doing." And I would recommend doing it, and then still to this day, I keep up with her, and she'll ask me,
Amazing.
"What's going on?" And I'll tell her, and I've got so much I wanna say 'cause then I'm totally debt free, and it's just she gets so excited when she hears it from me, and I just but, you can always fall back in that trap, and so
Mhm.
if you don't have that accountability partner, you're walking on dangerous ground, that's just my opinion.
It's
Just
so true. Yeah, I mean, because you can get rid of debt, but if you haven't changed your ways, I get a lot of repeat customers. I
yeah,
get a
oh,
lot of people who call back
and I
and
don't
say,
wanna do
"Hey,
that.
you're not going to, I believe you." But I love that. I haven't talked to someone who has really expressed it the way you just did, which is, "Hey, I not only did I get in the program, I got an accountability partner, somebody that held me to that," which what a huge benefit for you.
Oh, it really was, and just it taught me a lot, so that's just the way I look at it things right now, so, um, I'm just one that was the second best thing I did. I was getting out of debt, so
Good.
yeah,
So
so
now that you're out of debt, I always tell people I want to get you to a place to where you can flip your script. That's what I
mhm,
refer to it as. And it
mm,
really refers to how much you're putting towards your debt, your monthly payment that you were putting towards credit card debt. Once you were completely out, what have you decided now to do with that money that's going to start to grow money for you to
okay.
increase your wealth?
Yeah, okay, so I had backing up a little bit, making it quick, back in December of this past year, I had to get a car. It was my car was dying. I always bought used cars, and this one, it was just running on its last leg, and I never had a brand new car. And so at the end of the year, December, I ended up purchasing a 2025 Honda CRV, and I could not believe the payments, even though I had 4.9% interest, but I knew I had to have something good. So
Yes.
let's fast forward. So I had been saving money. I did a smart pay kind of thing where I would take out, every other week. And it was helping. Also during that time, I sold my house and I knew that I was living above my means on that. It was just so that money I invested, it's now in a Roth IRA, and I also have a money market that I have, and so I just paid off my car 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Yes. Yes, I'm so excited. So that debt
Amazing.
is gone, and that's over $700 a month.
Amazing.
Yes. So what I'm doing now is I have a high yield savings account
Great.
and which is really yielding some over 4.5%. So I'm
Great.
putting money into that, and I'm trying to get it to where I have at least 6 to 8 months of emergency funds. So I've got about 4,000 more dollars to go, but I know I can do it because my only debt is I pay a little bit of a rent for a room, $500, but I'm putting it in. And so I did get a financial advisor because I
Amazing.
wasn't good with it, I just wanted to make sure because being single, I don't have enough for retirement, so he got me in on the Roth IRA, he got me in on a money market, and then we also had I think it was a CD that I did, and then when that came to fruition and matured, we moved it into a money market, so I've got all that I'm saving, and it's actually doing really well right now, knock on wood,
Yeah.
but just to say I have my ca I mean, I am just so excited that I paid off my car, and now
I can see it on you, and it's
my
interesting
gosh,
because I can remember,
yeah.
speaking with you briefly back then and just the stress. That's the other piece of the puzzle that most
Yes.
people don't realize is the effect it has on your health.
I wasn't sleeping. I gained a lot of weight. I was eating terrible. I felt like there was no hope, and it
Yeah.
was just awful. I just couldn't believe it. And one of the things when I finally got out of debt, really wanted to be able to help people. I have never been able to help. I mean, I really can't give a whole lot, but, where if I go out to eat or if I go somewhere, I usually tip really good, and
Mhm.
it's like so that's my way of giving back.
Yeah. You
Being able
bless other people.
yeah. Yeah, and just, I'm just giving tell them, "Hey, I've been through a lot, now I can do it, I wanna share with you," so and it's a good feeling, and, it's just
Mhm.
something for me that's my way of giving back. It goes around full circle eventually.
It sure does, and you never know what people are going through. That's the one thing
Exactly.
I always try to remember. We all have a story, and so you never know what people are experiencing. So the fact that you're able to not only flip your financial script, but the
Mhm.
way that you're pouring and sewing into others, and even now, I am so excited that you've decided to come on to the Life After Debt team
Me
because you've seen what it does for you, and you're so passionate about helping others who may run into that same situation.
absolutely. Well, it's every day. I mean, you will run into somebody every day.
That's right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just amazing how many people are out there that they're just like way I was, so, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, I just didn't know how to proceed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's exciting.
There's no better testimonial than from somebody who's actually from A to Z. You didn't know me at all. You called into our company, you went through the program, and you are like a textbook billboard example of everything. So I'm like grinning from ear to ear because one, I'm so proud of you. But two, I know how good it must feel and how
Oh, it
you must feel for yourself. I think when you look at finances, especially for women, it's not something that we're ever really taught
Mhm.
you know?
Right.
And so,
Absolutely.
how do you continue educating yourself? I heard you say you got a financial planner, which I think is fabulous.
Mhm.
What else do you do outside of that to continue to grow and learn when it
Mhm.
comes to money and finance?
Okay. Well, one of the things that I do is I follow you on Instagram.
Okay,
And yes,
good.
yes, yes. So my thing is it's hard for me to read or because I don't have the experience with this.
Mhm.
I see people someone that has been through it. And it's like your story, and you have things on your Instagram of different things of, this is how you need to do this and that. This is how you need to grow your wealth. This is what you need to do if you have some change, put it in. It's something, it's just something like that. And in finding that person that you want, that you look up to is one way for me, that way that I have stayed the course. Number two, I don't want to go back to where I was. And it's amazing, but it can be difficult at times because you see that really pretty pair of shoes and a nice I'm a Kate Spade girl, and I'm like, I've gotta go the other way when I go to the store. And I'm determined that this is really gonna work because I've worked too hard to go back. I
Yes,
really have, and but it is I look at you, you are such an inspiration to me. I do stay in touch with my financial advisor. I have to for
great.
that. For me, that I have to.
That's great.
I wasn't really taught, it's like you said, I wasn't taught money-wise how to do it. It's with my retirement. I don't have much retirement, but I'm working hard,
You're
but
gonna be just fine.
yeah, I will. Yeah, I am, and, like I said, paid off my car. I'm so excited. I'm still
Mhm.
excited about that, but, there's just, but find someone, find a person or 2. Social media is so helpful
It is.
for one thing, but to me, again, I still keep in touch with my financial advisor, and I still talk to my mentor, and sometimes I try to read, but it's just hard for me to really understand and make sure I really know what I'm doing. So I'll take that and I'll go to maybe my mentor or somebody else and say, "What do you think about this?" And how do I need to get there? Yeah, so I'm always trying to be very open, and if it doesn't work for me, well, you need to be honest. Okay, so it's not working for me. So what are we got to find out what is going to help. So
That's right.
yeah.
And, I think it's so good of you. Like you, if there's something that I want to know something about, they say you're like the five people you surround yourself with,
Hmm.
right? Or the
Yeah.
five people you're gaining stuff. And I actually did a post earlier this week because I love physical fitness. And there's
Yes.
three people that I really admire and who keep me going. And so I recognize them for that. I love that we all have people that we click with them, we get it, and we wanna learn and absorb because they've been there, done that. And
Right.
it sounds like that's a big learning tool for you, which is phenomenal. The other
Yeah.
piece that I so admire you for, I love it because this is the way I personally am built too. I'm a hustler like yourself. And so I love side hustles. I love to create. And I heard you say when you were walking through this program, you were being creative with ways to make additional money.
Mhm. Yes.
Can you talk to that a
I'm
little
still doing that.
bit? Good. That's amazing. Can you share some of the things that you would do to bring in additional monies?
Okay.
Because here's why. I think a lot of people, I always tell people, in business, sales solves everything, right?
Mhm.
More
Mhm.
sales, it solves everything.
Mhm.
But in human life, the more money that you can bring in, I would much rather create avenues to bring in additional money than I would have to work on a budget. Like,
Mhm.
no way, Jose. I will
Mhm.
create other paths.
Yeah.
And so you seem very similar in that. So tell
Mhm.
us a little bit about what you did to generate more revenue coming in.
Okay. Well, I got very serious about my budget for first of all.
Yes.
Anything extra that I had that if it was $20, I don't care what it was, that goes right in my savings account. And it wasn't making enough money for me. I did try, like, selling my shoes online, my purses. You're not you're just coming out even because you have to pay shipping. So, I just thought, "Well, you know what? I love dogs." And I thought, I bet I can do pretty good with pet sitting, and started doing it I guess it was about 3 well, about the same time, maybe a year or so before I started doing pet sitting. Let me tell you, I'm in hot demand, and I can make, like, $350 in, like, 3 days. And
Amazing.
that is the honest to goodness truth. Pet sitting has been amazing for me, and I have, like, 7 or 8 families that are now regulars for me, and they're like they book me a year in advance, for one thing. So pet sitting
It's amazing.
yeah, it's real and actually, it's really good money. I charge, like, $40 to $50 a day, and I'll stay at the house if they want me to. Um and I get creative on, like, if you wanna do more money, if they wanna spend a little bit more, sometimes they just, "Hey, here's the money," and I'm like, "Oh," it's like, "Oh, wow, that's a lot more than what I was expecting." But pet sitting was one of my things, and then, of course, budgeting, and then watching where my money was going, and then my pet sitting stuff, at the time, I was going towards my bills. So I was paying that off, and so even still to this day, when I pet sit, it goes into my savings now. I don't need to be paying bills. So
So good.
yeah, yeah, so I know when I made my last payment on my car, I had $5,000 that I owed, and I had saved, like, almost $500 in, like, 4 weeks. Got that towards my account, and I was like, "Oh, man, I can do this." But it was just great to see, so now, I mean, now that I have, like, that a CD and other things that I can put money into in my savings, that's where I'm putting it. Because I don't like I said, I don't have much for retirement. And
Yes.
it's gonna help me anything's gonna help me
That's
anyway.
right. I think that once you flip your script, that's what I try to get people to see. It actually becomes like a game. It's
Yeah.
actually fun to watch these accounts grow and go to
Uh,
work for you because really people are either going to work for the rest of their life and go
mhm,
in and they're
mhm.
never going to get out of that vicious cycle, right?
Right.
Or, I mean, your story is literally amazing because not only did you do everything that we advised you to do, you took the tools and you are
Mhm.
so actively flipping your script that that money's gonna grow by the time you get ready to retire. So, I
Yeah.
could not be more excited for you.
I'm excited too. And just, as an encouragement, whoever's listening, that I just did my budget for the coming week, from when I get paid, and this is amazing. I'm just, like, so excited. I have $1,000 left over that I
Wow.
can put into my savings. I mean, so the process works. It really does, but it does take discipline, and it does take gumption. And I mean, I'm looking at this going, "Oh my" 'cause it's like it's hard for me to believe, but all glory to God because I really couldn't have done it without him. I couldn't have done it without, like, your company. I couldn't have done it
Yeah,
without my mentor. There's a
yeah,
lot of people that really invested in me and that I'm so thankful,
mhm.
and here I am today smiling and happy, you
You
know?
are full of joy, by the way. I love that. Yeah, no, you are. It's contagious, and so
Mhm.
that's why I'm so excited for you to be a part of our company and what we're doing across the country with being a voice for
Yeah.
others. So they can come to you and you can give them the same hope because you've lived it and you now are on the other side of it and growing your money and you're ready to step in the gap for others and kind of mentor them and push them along. So,
Yes,
so
absolutely.
excited for you, Melody.
Yeah. Well, you had a part in it too, because I just kept following you, and at times I was like, "Ugh, I cannot believe I was like, "Ugh," but it was like, I guess you get a little bit jealous of like, I wanna do that, but, it's just but when you see the other side, you see that
Mhm.
picture, it's gonna if you just do what you know is supposed to do, it's gonna
Yeah.
work. It's gonna work.
Yeah, I'm just so glad you reached out. I'm very thankful and
Me too.
that you kept in touch with us even to share your story.
Yeah.
And, if you had to tell somebody the a last piece of advice before you go today, for those
Yeah.
who are sitting at home they have debt and they don't feel like they're not to the place to where they're comfortable enough to reach out and ask for help.
Mhm.
Like, what would you tell them?
What's holding you back?
Mhm.
Keep postponing this, you're never going to do it.
Yeah.
The time is now. Because interest rates, there's so much against people that it's in debt. Honestly, it's like, really, why are you waiting? I even asked myself that because there was a time too that I was like, oh, I don't know if I should do this. But no, it didn't take me long to realize, oh no, I need to. And if I keep waiting, it's going to get worse and you're going to keep falling back on bad habits. So my thing is, please, what are you waiting on? Why are you waiting to do this? Let us help you walk through it. And that's what happened with me. I mean, I reached out through the program and, with the customer service, and I would just ask them, "What am I doing? Why am I doing this?" And they had to bring me back down.
Yeah,
And they were great to talk to, for them, it was just great customer service too, and just feeling the need of a client that is just on the edge of panic. They would bring me off the ledge several times.
it's amazing. I always say it baffles me. People will open a credit card and not think twice about it, but as soon as
Mhm.
you throw them a lifeline to get out, they have to think about it. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, you've used a credit card for so long, that's your
Yeah,
crutch, and it's like it's hard to get rid of it. I
that's
mean, if
right.
I pay by cash, if I don't have the cash, I don't need it then. I just have to wait till I have the cash, because then I
That's
don't have to worry
good.
about it anymore.
You don't have any credit cards anymore, is that
No.
correct?
Yeah, I'd use my debit card, and if I don't
Amazing.
have it on my debit, I don't get it,
Good for you.
budget on and this is gonna sound terrible, I budget on groceries, but and I budget and I have to watch my gas. I've got it to where my gas is, like, every 2 weeks. But, I mean, but you just it but what it's like you said, it is a game at times, and
Yeah,
it's fun. You just, "Okay, I'm
totally.
gonna do this. I can do it." You just learn. But I think through the process, you just learn a lot of things, and there's a lot of help out there too. Please don't delay. You need to do it. You'll be happy you did it, is what I
That's
would tell people. You'd be
every
happy.
everybody needs a story like you have. It's
Yeah,
phenomenal. I'm so
yeah,
excited for everyone to hear this, and I'm so
yeah,
excited. And for those watching too, just so you know, we have a link on this podcast that you can book a clarity call and you'll get to talk to myself or Melody, but any of our reps so that way we can meet you where you are. There's zero shame or guilt. But that's what this company is all about is just creating a space. And probably more so, I used to say life after debt, we're about helping people with credit card debt. But lately I've actually really thought about that, and it's actually less about getting out of debt and more just about creating a safe space for people to show up just like they are with zero shame or guilt and share so that we can get you to the other side. So
yeah.
thank you, Melody, for
Thank
coming on,
you. Thank you for
and
letting
we'll
me
be
share
in touch
with
soon.
you.
Yes. All
Thank
right.
you.
See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Life After Debt. We're so glad you hung out with us because around here, we believe debt doesn't get the final say. Clarity does. Whether you're drowning in credit card debt or just tired of stressing over money, we're here to help you ditch the shame, get a plan, and take your power back. If you're ready for real change, let's talk. Head over to reducemydebts.com and book your free clarity call with our team. It's quick, easy, and honestly, it could change everything. Thanks again for listening, and remember, your life after debt isn't just possible, it's waiting for you.